Uppercut, uppercut, sonic boom! Well, hello there, humans, beings, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. If you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it too, welcome back to channel. If this is your first time here, where have you been? It's only been 10 years or something. I'm Bushka, this is Blitz, and today we're going to be talking about the E75. Why? Well, I rebought this tank a little while ago. I had to sell a lot of tanks back in the day, and I never really got around to rebuying them. I just started playing more and more my press account rather than using my traditional account because I was, you know, a little bit poor in terms of credits after the spare parts debacle. And I ran the E75, and I hadn't really checked out what they'd done to it in the tier 9 rebalances, and I just wanted to see if it still performed as well as it used to do. And gee, it really performs well. It's an absolute corker of a tank. It's a ridiculous vehicle that feels still, all these years later, every bit like some kind of weird tier 10 that's stuck at tier 9, and they just won't let it play at tier 10 because there's already an E100 there. It's legitimately humorous to me that this tank is still, out of all the tanks, an absolute beast and able to penetrate and smash other vehicles so comfortably as we do the double side scrape E75 conga line here. That is a very weird looking thing, right? But whatever the case may be, it works well. One of the things that used to hold a lot of the tanks back was the tech trees were very convoluted. There was a lot more guns, a lot more engines, a lot more turrets, and it was a lot more painful to grind through. I think the original E75 Maybash engine was a 660 horsepower engine. And when you used to play Copperfield at tier 9, because you did play Copperfield at tier 9 back in the day, going up the hill from the south spawn was hilarious in a stock E75. It was like a 30, 45 second tiny little incline that you had to go up. And what the E75 has always done incredibly well, and that hasn't changed at all, is this stupid side scraping thing where you can angle it so quickly and so severely and really make life hell on wheels for your IS-8, your T-30 that are trying to hit you. And it's not just about the fact that you don't end up taking damage, it's about the fact that you slow down the damage the other tanks give you, and you're able to turn their bounces into return damage back. This was in fact the first game I played back in the E75, and it was like an old glove or an old pair of boots. That it just fit so freaking comfortably. It was like sliding back in, and it was 2016 all over again. And the things that they changed about the tank were hilariously things that just helped it so much. And the things that they took away were things that I was like, who freaking cares? So the view range got nerfed. Wow. No more E75 Scout, which is kind of funny considering that I do actually have 2 patrol duty badges in the E75. And they also nerfed the dispersion. Wow. No more sniping. No more spotting E75 sniper builds for me. Yeah, like the dispersion on this thing, it's great that they nerfed it, but who cares? Like, you're doing this stuff up close and personal. It's a side scraper, it's a beast. And I was playing the ML2 the other day, and there was an E75 in front of me, and I didn't have calibrated shells. And the ML2 runs 300 millimeters of heat pen. And I couldn't really reliably pen him. He was wiggling just a tiny, tiny little bit left and right. And it was going from his side was like a maybe pen to his lower glacis was a maybe pen, backwards and forwards. And I bounced 3 shots on the guy. And it was just because the 75 is such an absolute fantastic beast. Now I'm going to show you a couple of gameplays here with the 75 in tier 10 matchups. One's a tier 10 matchup. I think they're both tier 10 matchups, actually. This one is just pushing hard through town, and this is really what you want to be doing. it's such a simple tank. You've got the sides, you scrape them, profit. By the way, if you want to become a patron, patreon.com/Bushka on Blitz. That'll help the channel keep rolling. It's always good to have a going proposition here and actually make a little bit of cash on the side so that I can keep on tanking on. The missus loves it, and she will allow further expansion into tanking if we can just make it a profitable little experience. The 75 is such a difficult customer to deal with because your sides are also slightly upwardly or inwardly angled. They're not completely flat. And that's the absolute perfect angle for side scraping. The turret, although flat, is also quite sharp. So you can get bounces very comfortably off your turret as people try to pen it. It's nowhere near the size of the E100. Doesn't have the alpha gun either, and thank you for driving out in front of me and blocking the IS-7 there, 50 TP. If you note how I keep reversing and I'm always lining up with the building in front of me, this IS-7 is a tough gig, right? But the E75's upper plate, he's trying to find my hatch. That's why I'm rolling my gun up in the air, and I've got to wait for him to fire. He's looking for angles. That's a tier 10 heavy. I'm face hugging a tier 10 heavy in a tier 9 heavy, and he's forced to use HE. If that doesn't tell you that this tank is super strong right now, I don't know what is going to tell you that. Now, he's decided just to go and try and shoot other stuff. He's had enough. He's had enough. He's had enough. We drive straight past him in the crazy circle of death and try and then set up another angle over here so that he's got to go for the upper plate. And he does. We go forward and get the actual kill anyway. This is a tank that, for the longest time for me, has been a go-to. When we were grinding platoons in Tier 9, if someone was experiencing through a line, someone else in the clan would run an ST1 or an E75 or a T54. Those were the three tanks that we would really grind Tier 9 tanks with. And I've seen so much change. This line now, this line is a must grind line. I mean, Tiger 2, E75, and on either end of those you have interesting tanks. The Tiger 1 is like a heavium with incredible DPM, really decent armor when you try and bully meds, and really excellent, incredible mobility. The E100 is like that huge alpha side scraper with the massive HE round. It's not as good pound for pound as this tank is here, but it is genuinely a fun tank. So as a line, this is the kind of line that I love, where E100 is a good tank, don't get me wrong, but it's not as good compared to its other heavies at its tier as this thing is. Like, you can be up tiered in this tank and be really, really comfortable. It's a tank that can bounce just about anything. The sides aren't going to get overmatched. You can rumble and stumble your way across the battlefield, and you're really not going to notice the nerfs of dispersion and view range. Like, who freaking cares? Like, genuinely, who cares if your view range got nerfed in this thing? Your 128mm gun is more than suitable for the purpose. It got buffed in terms of DPM, so you're now a 2300 hit point heavy, which also has 2339 DPM. Now, that's not massive DPM, but it's good. And you run AP and APCR, and your APCR is 311mm. And I actually prefer running AP and APCR on heavies. One of the reasons for that is that when you are side scraping in a heavy tank, quite often your opposition is side scraping, and they are going to have spaced armor that you've got to deal with. So it's easier to deal with that if you're not firing heat. Firing heat can be difficult. Now, everything has its own, you know, obviously situation where it's going to be useful on the battlefield. But I prefer personally just overall to run an AP-APCR combo. it's more idiot-proof. And I do have moments where I am a genuine idiot. I don't know if you know that about me, but if you watched any of the streams, I sometimes just burst into YOLO like it's a chorus line song that I've got to sing. Hello, how you doing, my buddy? What do you know? It's another E75. Mr. Snuggle had to go. He left. So it's now a 4v6. We managed to juke that E75 into running off the top of that hill. And he gets into a horrible position. I do not know what he was doing at the back. I'm actually more worried right now about the Waffle Tractor, who I know is somewhere around me. And whoa, ho, ho, it's a light tank. Thank you very much. Happy to see you, my friend. Hello, Mr. Batchat. You are absolutely welcome. And he takes out the Waffle Tractor. Good on him. So it's a 2v3 now, which is great. It was a 2v4. I thought I was in big trouble. The Batchat's come all the way back through to the red spawn, and we're looking for action. Remember, grind this tank. If you haven't ground this tank, why? This is a must-own tank at tier 9. It is a gorgeous bit of heavy metal. This is the side-scraping king. And if you don't own it, why not? That's what I want to know. So the Batchat, the T92E1, sitting there in spawn, working their way through some provocative emails that the HR has brought to the attention of one and all. Dear sirs, please find enclosed the late... Oh, good work, Mr. Musketeer. Speaking of E100s, there we go. E100 rushing up on the Batchat with the Type 71. Now, this is something that I thought, we can do this. We can legitimately do this. This is a thing we can do. But can we clear the E100 before the Type 71 pushes down here and makes my life a misery? Still, there we go. I hate that tank. Why do I always struggle to pen this thing? Always struggle to pen this thing. Nice, nice, nice. I'm not really worried about you as much right now as I've got to clear this E100. Here he comes. So we're going to try and keep the other tanks between me and the E100, so he can't really get a clear shot. He can't get an angle there, get the kill, turn around. We're going to hit point advantage. Just got to make the most of it. Keep face hugging. Keep face hugging. Just keep hugging. Just keep hugging. Hit that hatch. Hit that hatch. Why did you go for the upper plate? You know he's going to move, and it's just going to ruin your whole life. Come on, baby. Hatch me. Hatch me. Hatch me now. 100% hatch. All the time. All the time. Okay, there's 5k. And it was just a whole lot of bouncing bullshit and a lot of slow swiveling around and angling and doing the dangling. And that's what this tank does. 2,000 damage blocked, about 5k damage done. T10 game, easy mastery, about 1484 experience. And Mr. Snuggle had to go. Hope you got the footage you needed. I did indeed. GG's, amigos. Thanks very much for watching. Look after yourselves. Stay safe on the battlefield. And as always, bye for now.